Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And there you go. Welcome. It's our Wednesday edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. We are back with you, and we are live. It is another brand new edition because a taped edition would not be as fun. We've got a lot of good stuff to do, a lot of fun stuff throughout this 2-hour journey. We'll hear from Nate Oates. We'll hear from Kalen DeBoer. We'll hear from Hugh Freeze. Auburn's A-Day is set for Saturday. Then you have the Final Four getting underway on Saturday as well, so we'll zero in. I mean, it's just all culminating in one fine, good masterpiece, I guess.
Well, that's a lot going on this week, man.
It is.
For our state, Alabama's in the Final Four. Auburn's wrapping up Hugh Freeze' second spring practice in his first full year at Auburn. And, there's we've got high school baseball area play going on. There's a lot of things, and we've got – tomorrow we've got the official wrap on Huntsville High basketball. We're going to have our banquet over at the Huntsville Country Club, so that will wrap up. And it's interesting because the way they do things in high school basketball now is the end of April toward May is your tryouts, and then that kind of officially flips the calendar, and you start preparing for your next season, which school will be out in May, and then everybody kind of does their summer stuff, as you know, now in the month of June. So it's amazing how fast the calendar flips, because before you know it, we're going to be in July and be making plans to be in Dallas, Texas for SEC Media Days, which this year is going to be surreal because after all the talk, Texas and Oklahoma are going to be members of the league officially. Yeah. Now, after all these spring sports wrap up this year, and they wrap up their swan songs in the Big 12.
All right, so Alabama departed yesterday for L.A., landed in the afternoon.
Phoenix now.
Phoenix. Why did I say L.A.?
Well, they were just
in L.A., yeah. They were in the desert. Before they left, though, they did practice, and then Nate Oates did meet with the media. In case you are following it or in case you want to know, Latrell Wrightsell did go through practice yesterday. Now, Nate Oates said afterwards that he will be evaluated this morning, and it'll be an evaluation of how he handled yesterday's activities, and then they will monitor him from there. It is a day-to-day situation with Latrell Wrightsell. Basically, if he checks all the boxes in a good way from yesterday's practice, then he will do more today. If not, then they will have to scale it back and monitor it some more. So basically, he just has boxes to check from here, and if he can check all of those boxes each and every day, then he'll progress more and more to play on Saturday.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where he is at right now.
And again, like they said, it was the first time he'd been on the practice floor, I think, for a full workout in several days, and since he went down a couple of weeks ago against Grand Canyon. So we'll see if he has any setbacks. Hopefully not. He was with the second unit, and as I told someone, I think he'll play, but he won't start, obviously, because he hasn't been in the mix. They would probably go with the same starting five that we saw in the Sweet 16 round and then we saw in the Elite Eight, which was Nick Pringle and Grant Nelson. Kind of go with two bigs, and then you have Rylan Griffin on the wing, and then Aaron Estrada and Mark Sears. So that's probably what they would do. And then and honestly, at the start of the season, that's what Wrightsell was doing. He sort of shot his way into the starting lineup because he was so productive. But we'll see, and it's going to be interesting. I don't know. I mean, I guess they were Villanova and North Carolina back, in 2018 were favored heavily, but I don't know that I've seen two teams that are so heavily favored over the others. In other words, you've got two that are nobody in their pool hardly had a bracket unless you were a diehard Alabama fan or a diehard NC State fan, and then Purdue and especially UConn, a lot of people had. And,
right. A lot of people had Purdue, but I think a lot of people also had questions about Purdue.
Well, because of
the way
last
they
year.
Yeah, because of everything that
I had
happened.
them in the Elite Eight. I had them losing to Tennessee, so I had them making a run, but I didn't have them getting to Phoenix. Now, I did have a UConn in Phoenix, and it turns out after all the carnage, from the weekend, that's the only one that I got through. And my champion, Houston, went out because of the injury to Sheed. So, again, unfortunately, that means we're not talking to Bobby Champagne, but they had a great year. But we'll see what's going. And I'll gladly be wrong for Alabama to make the Final Four. I mean, that's it's a watershed moment for the program.
Nate Oates talks about what it's going to take.
The program for myself. I've never coached in one of these, so super excited. We're trying to keep the distractions to a minimum, knowing that there's a lot of hype surrounding the Final Four. That's going to be a big distraction to players, but I think our guys stayed pretty locked in during the Sweet 16 week, and we're really focused on what they had to do against Carolina and Clemson. I'm hoping we're able to maintain the same focus. UConn's obviously super talented. I mean, they're picked to win it. They've kind of run through the tournament the last year and this year. Don't think they've even had a single-digit win. So, we've got a daunting task in front of us, but, we're going to give our guys a game plan, and they've done a pretty good job getting locked into scouting reports here these last 4 games in the tournament, and, we're going to.
Your child
hit a commercial.
Oh, yeah, I thought we had a new sponsor.
I was like, what the heck? Why did it launch into a commercial? But no, Natos is talking about his game plan.
A game plan that'll give us a chance, and we're going to have to make some shots. UConn's going to need to miss some shots. We're going to try to play the way we play. We're not going to change our style. We're going to try to play fast. UConn's transition game's elite, so it's not like they're going to slow it down on us. When they get in the half court, their sets run a little longer. So if you guys that have gotten all into analytics look, and their tempo's slow like it shows on KenPom, it's more because their half court sets are pretty elaborate and take some time. It's not because they don't run. Like if you watch their 30-0 run on Illinois, they get out and run. So our transition D's got to be great. They will run on you. Just if they don't get a layup, then they probably run the best sets of anybody I've seen all year. So we've got to do a great job in transition. We got to do a great job guarding the half court. We got to do a great job rebounding it because they get you on the O boards. They've got we had the number 1 offense in the country for a while. Reitzel got hurt, and we've fallen. They have the number 1 offense in the country now, but they also have a top 5 defense. So they've kind of combined both sides of the ball that are elite, and we've got our hands full.
That's Nate Oates before departing to Phoenix yesterday. And if you look at the UConn roster, one of the guys that Alabama is going to have to focus on, and they've got a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
But you're going to hear, no matter what happens, if Alabama is fortunate enough to get through UConn, it doesn't matter if they face Purdue. It doesn't matter if they face NC State. They are going to have a big man in the center either way. UConn has one, Purdue has one, and NC State has one. It does not matter. There is going to be a big guy. Donovan Clingan is UConn's big guy, 7'2", 280 pounds, and he can run the floor, and he could present a challenge for Alabama. So what does Alabama do? They suited up their GA yesterday, Erwin Dudley, to imitate Donovan yesterday at practice.
Yeah, they did. Erwin is a former SEC Player of the Year in 2002. Led the Tide to an SEC regular season championship. They finished second in the SEC tournament. They lost in the round of 32 to a really good Kent State team led by Stan Heath, who used that springboard to go to Arkansas and fail. But still, it was a really good Kent State team. Their best player was some cat named Antonio Gates, who it's so funny too. Now, with DJ Burns, who you mentioned from NC State being their dominant big, he's not getting as much NBA attention as NFL general managers are watching him and wanting him to potentially try to play football.
I saw that yesterday that a lot of these, like even these ESPN analysts or whatever, are like saying, hey, so-and-so from whatever organization was like, man, I want to see this guy out.
They like his athleticism for a guy like that big, and so he could. I remember Antonio Gates, that he had never played football, at least not in college, and they got him to try out because he was a tweener at 6'5", 6'6". Boy, he could shoot the basketball, but Scott, I think it worked out pretty good for him because, I mean, he's going to end up in Canton, Ohio as a Hall of Famer. So with the San Diego Chargers, they're now the Los Angeles Chargers, but it's hard to say that. But still, Gates was one hell of a player and one of the all-time greats at his position. And it's kind of funny, DJ Burns, I don't know that he'd be a tight end. He would probably be more like an offensive or defensive lineman.
Yeah.
But he's getting that kind of buzz as far as that goes. But Erwin Dudley trying to be Donovan Clingan, but he's not 7'2", 280. I mean, the guy is Clingan's a really good athlete for a big guy. He does a great job of erasing stuff on the rim. But if you're Alabama, you just have to compete. You got to get on the glass. You got to play as hard as you can. You got to go. You got to get second and third shots. And in some cases, you got to draw him to you, and then you got to, and then you got to dish it and hit threes, or you got to have guys rim run. And so that's what you're going to have to do if you're Alabama. You can't shy away from it. And it's going to be interesting too because Alabama's bigs have played their best basketball at the right time. I mean, I know Grant Nelson didn't have double figures against Clemson, but he had, as we know, 24 against North Carolina. And we know what Nick Pringle did against Clemson, 16 and 11. So, and those guys had good bigs too, man. So they're not 7 feet, but hey, you go out, you play the games. They're not decided already. I know a lot of people are picking, UConn and Purdue. Probably everybody will, but we'll see. But who knows? By the end of the week, I may not. I may decide that somebody's going to shock the world, and so that's why the NCAA tournament's the best event in sports. I certainly understand why Purdue and certainly UConn are the prohibitive favorites. I mean, I saw Alabama play Purdue early in the year in Toronto, and I think it was a 92-86 game, and I think Alabama made 23s, which is what they're going to need to do against UConn, and yet they didn't win it because Zach Edey and his teammates were too good because Purdue shot the ball so well. But again, look, early in the year, Clemson was better than Alabama too. But when it mattered, Alabama kicked that ass. So that's all. That's what you have to do. It's a one-shot deal. If both of these were 5 or 7 game series, then I do think that there's no question that Purdue and UConn would win. But guess what? It's a one-shot deal. You can play poorly or somebody can get in foul trouble, get injured, like we saw against Houston, which was very unfortunate. But that's just the way it goes in this tournament. Last year, nobody was boo-hoo-hooing for Alabama because Brandon Miller was hurt. He wasn't the same player that he had been throughout the regular season, which was arguably the best player in all of college basketball, or at least I would say in the same sentence as Zach Edey for what he meant to Alabama. But he got injured, and that's just the way it goes. And then Zach Edey and Purdue lost to Fairleigh Dickinson, which nobody saw coming because everybody thought Purdue had a chance
Purdue
to
was
get
just
to
going to roll through that one.
Well, everybody thought they had a great shot to get to the Final Four, and they fell short. So that's why the tournament is so unpredictable.
All right, 714-256-576-4977. That's how you can join the program. Let's go out to the phone lines. Jeff from the Boroughs with us. Good morning, Jeff.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Drew,
I'll ask you, how much longer are the Braves going to put up with Ozuna? How much longer are they going to put up with him?
He just hit 2 home runs yesterday, Jeff.
Well, no, what is his? I'm talking about. You know what he's done in the past. What are they going to put up? Are they going?
Why are you?
Are we bringing this up again?
Yeah, he's gone. We're talking about the Final Four, Jeff. We don't give a damn about what Ozuna did last year or the year before or 2 or 3 years ago, you buffoon. And you are a buffoon.
He just hit 2 home runs. Why are you talking about what Ozuna did in his domestic life when he had a great year last year, had no incidents, had the best year of his career, and he hit 2 home runs yesterday in a losing effort? So, Jeff, but we're talking about the Final Four. You know why you're changing the subject? Because Kentucky, S-U-C-K-S. They suck. They're not playing in the Final Four again because they can't. They can't. Oakland kicked the snot out of them. That's why. So stop coming in here with stupid subject matter and come with something. You've had some good calls lately, but this is stupid, okay? I guess you're just trying to get me going, but this is really dumb, okay? And I think people like it anyway because they know you're an idiot. If we were in Murfreesboro, Tennessee doing a remote, you wouldn't have the balls to show up. So shut up and go away.
256-576-4977. Feel free to give us a call. Let's go to break. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a couple of wrecks to watch out for now. Got Moore's Mill in 72 and no injury. 800 block of Old Big Cove's got an overturned vehicle. They reported injury, but they canceled Himsey. And that wreck at 565 in Research Park's got some southbound blockage. They're working on getting it clear. You get 2 pieces of the hand-breaded Juicy Tender Signature Chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes. University and Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Situated downtown on Clinton Avenue, you'll find the Church Street family's take on delicious seafood and more. Sea Salt. At Sea Salt, the food speaks for itself. Fresh oysters, shrimp and lobster, and non-seafood fare. Plus a large selection of wines, regional and local beers on tap, and a full bar. Catch the downtown vibe with Sea Salt's unique outdoor city street and patio seating with a view of Jesse Andrews' mural, bringing an underwater world to life. No reservations necessary. Sea Salt, 114 Clinton Avenue.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRIEND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. And if you want to talk about something current or relevant, the Iowa LSU women's basketball game drew 12.3 million viewers 12.3 million viewers for the Elite Eight game. It was every women's college basketball game ever. It topped that. It topped every ESPN college basketball game ever.
Right.
It topped every Major League Baseball, every NHL, every MLS, and every NBA game but one last season. It topped the record there for ratings. And it topped every college football regular season game last season except one. So that was how big the Iowa-LSU game was. And imagine if Iowa and South Carolina will play for the national
it's still
title.
Gonna be huge for Iowa and
it
Connecticut.
Could top that as well. And Iowa and Connecticut will be big. I don't know, 12.3 million big?
I bet it's close because you already mentioned to the listeners, and I think I even saw a piece where she met her in person and about flipped out. And this is Caitlin Clark, who makes millions and over $1 million in NIL, one of the highest, compensated female athletes in the world. She met Maya Moore and nearly passed out. Okay,
yes.
So that was like
she wanted to be recruited by UConn back in the day. They never
wanted
called
to potentially go to UConn, and
yes.
she met Maya Moore, and then even admitted that as a little girl she came up to her and got her autograph, which Maya didn't remember. But yeah, I mean, she was a huge UConn fan, so I think that'll draw tons of viewers.
Let's go to Richard on the phone lines real fast. Good morning, Richard.
Morning, guys. I think Caitlin Clark talks trash about like Scott does. You Iowa people, a bunch of trash talkers.
I don't mind the trash talking, man. I mean, look, I just
she kept it clean. I mean, she did pretty well.
But she yells at the crowd. She doesn't, preen around like these LSU idiots.
But she has some of the bench. But I mean, it's pretty funny though. But like I said, she backs it up just like Jordan used to.
Yep.
So to kind of tie in, Brandon talked about the arena, but it's going to be 10-1. It's done. I've had people write trustees, and then Byrne will send them a letter back. His mind's. I think it should be 12, but it's going to be 10,001 or so.
Right. Gotcha. I mean, I've seen some people that have written them. I mean, we'll see, because they did end up changing midstream when they did the latest stadium renovation, which a lot of people were worried that was going to. At first, it was announced 92, and I think the official capacity is still 101 or around that.
Yeah,
so
the basketball for a sellout is like 13,343.
Yeah, they've already adjusted that. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh
no, but one thing on Coleman, when it was built, it was the largest arena in the state.
Yes.
Up until about 77 or 78 when the Birmingham Civic Center came in.
Gotcha.
Every concert that was major came through Tuscaloosa until about 78. So
gotcha.
Bryant got to hang out with Robert Plant, Led Zeppelin, Elton, Elvis played a couple of times. Bob Hope was there. And then they kept doing concerts, but I think, the Civic Center is just more built for it, and, they're more used to it. And you would have a few here and there. And I don't know if they've done away with it or it's just, easier for Birmingham, to do concerts now. But like I said, back up to about 77, you would have them all the time. And actually the university had, the students, but they had, like staff members because they had so many coming through just because of the size of the arena, because, all these acts wanted to make more money.
Right.
So, but you're talking about, Brandon brought about doing something at Bryant-Denny, but one thing at the old Braves Stadium, Fulton County, in the old days, they used to, right before the season started, they would run a motocross. And they wouldn't reside the field. They would put plywood down and dirt on top of it.
Oof.
And then they would take the dirt off, the plywood off, let's play ball. And, the Braves were bad, but you would have balls, basically the infield was hard as a rock.
Wow.
So you'd have normal grounders bouncing to the outfield. And just, and I think once they got into the 90s and got good, they were able to, quit doing that. And I'm sure once they went to the both new stadiums, they don't do it anymore. But like I said, they used to, they just, pile dirt on. But I'm sure that's one thing. You know, the university doesn't want to take a chance. And like you said, they resod it, but they probably don't want to take a chance with all the pipes underneath. And
right,
exactly.
right. A little bit different now. I mean,
a lot of
irrigation
money involved.
and everything. Yeah.
Yep. And like I said, you just don't want to take a chance. But like I said, that would, you know, and like I said, the Braves were bad in the '80s usually anyway. But it sure didn't help when you had basically almost like playing on cement.
Right. Yeah, no question.
So one thing is I don't usually listen to the show before you guys. I'm going to give Jeff a compliment. Jeff's better than those people on ESPN, is all I got to say.
Wow.
It's pretty bad.
Thanks for the phone call,
I've listened to
Richard.
some of their topics, let's just say. And it's why ESPN Radio, some of the national stuff is just like lord.
All right, let's go to Sam from Huntsville. Good morning,
What's up, Sam?
Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I just want to talk about Alabama in the Final Four. You know, I think if they can contain UConn's big, they can get it done. They're going to need Mark Sears to really show up and Grant Nelson, as well as if we can get that Nick Pringle that showed up in the Elite Eight, I think they might really have a good chance to get it done. And go back on the guy talking about Ozuna. The guy slams freaking hog legs, man. We haven't heard about anything from him in the last few years. So, I mean, if he keeps doing what he's doing, staying on the right track, I don't know why anyone has an issue with it. So,
and, I mean, it's his last year of his contract. And again, he hit 2 bombs yesterday. Now, I did double-check and make sure something didn't break this morning or something.
I know, I did. I went back and looked.
I was like, it's not. I mean, they lost, but he hit 2 home runs. He had his best statistical year, even better than the MVP year during the COVID-shortened season last year. He didn't have any issues. So I don't know why you're bringing – but we know why he's bringing it up, because he should have even talked – he could have come in talking trash about Kentucky playing Alabama in baseball, and they're going to kick Alabama's butt this weekend in Lexington because Kentucky's really good in baseball. But he wants to bring up something stupid like something from 2 years ago on Ozuna when Ozuna even swung the bat well yesterday. It's dumb because he's trying to deflect from the fact that his Wildcats stink.
Yeah, they're pretty garbage.
And he used to always talk trash about Drew. Alabama's never going to make the Final Four. They're never going to make it.
Yeah, you see a lot of things on Twitter. You know, a lot of the Auburn fans and other fans, you know, talking trash about, you know, Nate Oates has never been to a Final Four. Well, they can't talk crap now. So
yeah, they just hey, all I'm telling you, if you want to see something funny, go to the Cereal Box on X. If you want to see a funny video. That's all I'm telling you.
Cereal Box on X. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
What they're talking about.
Just
go there and okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to look at that and see. I haven't looked at it and seen it.
Right.
All right, Sam. Thanks for the phone call, bud.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. Y'all have a good morning, all right?
Yeah. So Mark Sears, obviously, you know what? Mark Sears is going to have a big game. Grant Nelson's going to have a big game. They're going to need big games from everybody. They're going to need I shouldn't say big games. They're going to need big contributions from everybody. You don't have to have all-star games, but you have to have contributions from everybody in the lineup. The plus minus, and when I say plus minus, is they look a lot of the analytics, and the plus minus is coaches look at that on the stat sheet. The plus minus has got to be in the plus side for everybody. Can't have minuses next to them. All right, let's get a break in because our next guy knows a thing or two about playing in a game or two. Richard Hendricks will join us on the flip side.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And a wreck at Moore's Mill in 72 that's a no injury, should be about ready to clear. 800 block of Old Big Cove had an overturned truck there, no injury, but still may take a few minutes to get it clear. And that wreck at 565 in Research Park's on the southbound side, they ought to have it out of there pretty quick as well. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. Why not make it safer for them? Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
Y'all the best, man. Hey, just don't make sure I don't get that Moron flag.
No, sir. Not at all. Thanks, Coach. Oh, Ronnie Stapler joining us. No, Coach, you are not going to get the Moron of the Year plaque.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 The Zone.
Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping destination for Auburn and Alabama fans. Get your baseball gear, graduation gifts, or cheer on your team with the newest apparel, hats, and accessories for the entire family. Shop the newest collection of top brands like Nike, Adidas, Champion, Columbia, Yeti, New Era, plus 2 for $38 shirts. Sign up for the Alumni Hall Pass rewards and earn $10 for every 150 points accumulated. Come see us at Alumni Hall near Belk in the Bridge Street Town Center. Alumni Hall, where the best fans shop.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hi folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. And last night, we had the McDonald's All-American game.
Memories.
That's a song, by the way.
Lord,
Not even
Scott,
going to
you're gonna
sing it. Not even going to sing it. Not even going to go there. But I know it's a song, and I believe
Jeff's even sung on this show.
I believe it's from the musical Cats, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it?
I believe.
I'll take your word for that.
Anyway, our next guest knows a thing or two about playing in the McDonald's All-American game that was held last night.
And yes, and I got just a word to a reminder, and his father's already in it. But Coach Randy White, Hall of Fame coach, coached some of the best girls teams in the history of the state of Alabama. Richard Hendricks will go into the the Limestone County Hall of Fame in June and join his father there, and it's very richly deserved. He had one of the best high school careers as a 4-year starter at Athens. He was a 2005 McDonald's All-American, and he played at the University of Alabama on some NCAA tournament teams that were probably talented enough to do what the one this year has done, but that's break through and go to the Final Four, and we're going to talk about that and more with Richard Hendricks, who's been kind enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Richard, it's always great to hear from Randy White to give us a quick reminder about you going into the Hall in Limestone County. That's a great honor for you coming up in June, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. And good to hear about Coach White, too. He was also my PE teacher back in 7th grade. I'm telling you, man, you did not talk during roll call in Randy White's PE class. I mean, it shows why he won those games.
Oh, yes.
Won those, I want to say 69 straight games in a row and 2 state championships when I was in school. I mean, so great coach and great leader. I enjoyed those times back in Athens in the day.
No doubt. Discipline and fundamentals. That's what he always talked to me about.
I'm sure you are enjoying this time right now as a man that put on the Crimson Tide uniform, that played for the Crimson Tide. I'm sure you are soaking up every minute of this run to the Final Four.
Oh, it's definitely a joy. You know, I was on cloud 9 when I finally saw it. Listen, I mean, as a player, and also now that I'm not playing and I'm a fan, you understand the history of Alabama's basketball program. This is a program that has had great coaches, has had great players who have played at the university and on and professionally. But there has always been something about Alabama that we can't win and get over the hump to get to a Final Four. And as a fan base, you even know it. There's a lot of times when you watch games and you even think that the disappointment is going to come. And I even felt it as a player. As a player, we got to around the 32 and
You go with a chance to beat UCLA to go to the Sweet 16, and the next year you have so much promise being the number 4 team in the country, thinking you're going to be a sure thing as the Final Four, and the disappointment comes. And to see this team at the end of the regular season start to limp into the postseason play, not playing their strongest ball, get beat by Florida in the SEC tournament, but somehow regroup, refocus, come together, and win 4 games in a row. In a season when you lose 3 assistant coaches, 2 players to the first round in the NBA draft, another top player who goes professionally, and then players in the transfer portal who were totally contributors in the years past. It was something that you didn't see happening, but it's a joy to be there. And I'm going to tell you what, if you're in it, you got a chance to win it.
That's a great zinger right there. That's a great liner. And I know you've watched the college basketball. You're an analyst now. You're one of the fastest rising in the country. You've watched the entire SEC this year. I'm sure you've seen UConn. What are your initial thoughts on the matchup? And people forget too, Richard, we talked about it yesterday on the show, Alabama saw UConn. Both teams were much different, but Alabama played UConn last year in Portland early in the pre-conference.
Well, I think this is a team that obviously, they have really good positional size. They have a 7-footer in Donovan Clingan who's playing really good basketball. They move the ball well. And if you watch this team, they don't really get disrupted when they flow into their offense coming in transition. They have players on the weak side who move the ball and screen well to get you involved in that action. And then they're kind of able to pick you apart. Defensively, as I mentioned, they have the size and the versatility that they can be disruptive, and they have a big-time shot blocker, a couple of them on the inside, who can definitely change the game. So Alabama will have their work cut out for them. But at the same time, I know everyone's picking UConn. UConn's going to have to guard Alabama, too. And what Alabama loves to do is try to get things in the matchup in their favor when they come off pick and roll. You might have big guys who seem to can move their feet. But Nate Oates and his staff has done a tremendous job of identifying the mismatch and then being able to exploit it. And then players have stepped up in big moments, taking advantage of when they're able to get things going in their favor.
Mm-hmm. Is there a mismatch that you see right now that Alabama has on UConn?
Well, I mean, when you got a guy who's 7'2" and oftentimes plays a lot of drop coverage, I mean, Alabama going pick and roll heavy, that's going to be something that could be something that they can exploit. Maybe you can get a step on him and get a run to the basket to get your layups. Yeah. And if he's not able to get out on the outside and contest you from the outside, now you're looking at maybe potentially open threes. If they switch it, then, you have the matchup where you might have, a guard on a 7-footer and can he move his feet? So there's so many things that you can do from a tactical standpoint. But, once the X's and O's are out of the way, it's all about the Jims and Joes. And can Alabama's players step up and make plays offensively and defensively against a very talented UConn team?
Well, and you played with one of the best guards in Alabama history. I mean, I know injuries kind of derailed it, but Ron Steele was so good. It's what gave you guys a chance to beat a UCLA team. You went down to the final possession. They ended up going to the Final Four under Ben Howland. But talk about the level that Mark Sears is playing at right now. He's had as good a year as any guard I can ever remember at Alabama.
Ever. Oftentimes, I'm going to tell you this. When you are a fan or a person watching, the players that you were watching that did well at the time when sports started to become something to you, that's how they live in history. And you mentioned Ronald Steele, or if you were a person watching Alabama in the 70s, it could be Leon Douglas or T.R. Dunn or whoever the case, Robert Horry, Derek McKee. But if you look at what Mark Sears is doing, almost 21 points a game, 6 threes in a row to get to the Final Four, big-time performances, one of the leading scorers in the conference. To me, I don't know how in the world he didn't get a vote for SEC Player of the Year. I understand Dalton Connect was deserving, but to have a unanimous pick I thought was crazy. But this man, Mark Sears, is creating a legacy right in front of his eyes. Every kid who's in the 7th, 8th grade who's watching Alabama basketball make this run, this will be the top guard that they remember. As you mentioned, Ronald Steele in my time, and you talk about other guards from other eras. Mark Sears, what he's doing right now with this run to the Final Four, makes him a legendary status in Alabama basketball. And it is deserving so. And being a North Alabama kid like myself, I couldn't be more proud to see a guy from the area get it done.
You've talked about how long it takes freshmen to settle into the college game. Jaron Stevenson has been a case of that. it's taken him a little while. Now, he had his moment against
and he should be in high school, remember.
Yeah, he still should be in high school, and he had his moment to help Alabama get to the Final Four. How have you seen him kind of adjust his game and learn the college game as he goes?
Well, he's talented. And, you always hear everyone talk about his ability and skill set. And at 6'10", he has the ability to shoot it outside, and he has the ability to put it on the deck and finish up close. So he comes from a basketball family. It's not just everyone talks about his mom who plays at North Carolina on some teams that went to the Final Four, but the dad played professionally overseas, particularly when Turkey. He played at Fenerbahce Ukra, which is a really good team, played against Irwin Dudley back in those times. So, I mean, he comes from the bloodlines of understanding how to play, and even was raised often growing up overseas when his dad was playing in Korea. So this is a kid that has a lot of potential. It hasn't been realized earlier, but you were able to see in the last game stepping up in the big moments. And when you talk about young players, when you get to this point in the season, the freshman year is over. You have the experience, you have the confidence, and you're ready to start to make the turn to the next year to show what you can do when your position is going to change on the roster. So I was pleased to see him finally step up because he does have some ability, and quite frankly, all throughout the season, we haven't seen it. I think for him, the next step has to be not just to be an outside shooter on the catch and shoot. What can you do defensively in guarding post players? Can you be a rim protector at 6'10" and block shots? Can you also put the ball on the bounce? And can you take advantage of getting stronger and taking advantage of these mismatches when you are closer to the basket? A talented player, but has only really been a spot-up shooter. And if he can really add all of those facets to his game, then Alabama can have a player in the future.
Well, and then talk about, Grant Nelson was able to really hurt Carolina with his ability to draw guys away from the court and then and away from the rim and then break them down. He broke down Baycott. Now, I know Klingen's 7'2", but is that a way maybe for Grant Nelson to attack UConn? Are they going to try to get him to draw defenders away and maybe try to use his quickness and athleticism in a matchup against the Connecticut Huskies?
I think you can, but when I look at Klingen, I do think he is a little bit more athletic than Baycott as far as the defensive range.
Moving, yeah, right.
He's 7'2". He can move a little bit better laterally. They do challenge him at times. He does stay back in drop coverage, but I have seen on film that he does get up a little bit at the level of the screen, so he can move. And with that length, it does make it a little bit difficult to shoot when you're going around him. So Grant Nelson had the game that he needed to have. Opening season, I think everyone thought that you had a really big-time player that was going to come in and replace what Brandon Miller did, but he's kind of turned into the ultimate glue guy. He stepped up in that UNC game and scored points, rebounded, and defended, and that's the potential that he has to do. But as far as where they can exploit him, I don't know if it's going to be necessarily using the foot speed to get by him. They're going to mess with it. He's going to definitely have to hit some shots from the outside. If he can do that, then that opens things up. Alabama needs to play from in front. Hitting the threes will make people come out and respect that and run them off the line, which then will open up the layups. You want to have the balance of the layups and outside shots to get it done. But really getting it done is what Grant Nelson and the rest of this team can do on the defensive end. That's where games are won, and how can you slow down UConn?
Alabama's going to have their hands full with UConn. Real fast, the other semifinal game, you get Purdue and NC State. Do you miss the days of trying to learn game film on a 7'4", 300-pound center?
I mean, it doesn't bother me. I mean, listen, most of the time you don't have to worry about too much film study on a 7'4", 300-pound center. You know where they're going to be. They're going to be in the paint.
And he's in there a long time.
Yeah, he's still in there after that Tennessee game. I didn't have a problem with the fouls. I know a lot of the Vols fans complained about the foul discrepancy, but you did foul him. I mean, he's a force of nature. I mean, you're going to have to hack him to slow him down.
But he built three houses. That's what you're saying, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But he's in the paint. I mean, that's something that you have to respect. But I tell you what. I know one thing. I'm looking forward to seeing the matchup. I don't have to guard him, but big DJ Burns is going to have his hands full, and he's been a joy to watch. I mean, averaging only 13 points on the season. He's not the leading scorer on this team, but it definitely seems like he's the leader in the heart and soul. But to see someone play with so much charisma and that jolly smile that he has in his physique, you see a guy who doesn't look so athletic be so nimble on his feet, rolling off of people, spinning off of people in the beautiful, soft touch. It's fun to watch. It's going to be interesting to see how those two guys are going to go at each other. And as a big man, that's what I want to watch.
Well, the thing with DJ Burns is he's got such great vision. He's got some Jokic ability as a passer, but then he also reminds me of Dimitri Hill from Florida in that back in the day when they went to the Final Four, is that Dimitri, he didn't have a great body, but, man, he knew how to play.
Right. And I mentioned that to a buddy yesterday. I was talking about that as far as DJ Burns is concerned. I said, it's not his scoring that is the biggest threat when he can do that. But what it is his passing ability. And I understand that as being a passing big as well, is that when you can demand a double team and then you have the ability to have your head up and dime a shooter on the outside or a cutter coming through, that softens up the defense. And now they can't double team you. Now you can go and play the one-on-one game and you can draw fouls and get closer to the basket. So he has a great feel for the game. But I don't think it's going to be as easy for him to catch the ball 17 feet out as he does in the mid-post and just work his way down to the basket against a guy 7'4" and 300 pounds. So I don't know if he'll have his way as he's had. But it's going to be fun to see the chess match of how these two bigs figure out how to get their position and how to get it done.
Yeah, it really is. We're talking to Richard Hendricks, former all-SEC forward from the University of Alabama, played many years overseas, and, of course, was a McDonald's All-American. And, Richard, I know it's a broad question, but what does making the Final Four and getting on this stage do for Nate Oates and Alabama basketball for the future in your mind?
Oh, it solidifies it. It solidifies that this is a program that has always had really good players and really good teams but couldn't get over the hump. But now from the national standpoint, it puts the eyes of respect on this program that you're able to get there. And the thing is this, you're in the Final Four, they got a chance to win it. I know everyone's so happy about getting there, and it seems like the job is done because you've finally been able to get over the hump that we've never been able to do. But you got the chance to play 2 more games. And if they can win a national championship, that would be unbelievable. You got 2 players in the McDonald's All-American game last night.
Yep.
Recruiting is really, really good. Alabama has a brand of basketball that young players today want to play. And Nate Oates has showed his commitment that he wants to stay here at Alabama, and the crowd is, and the fan base is behind him. So it's huge for them to get to the Final Four, to be on this stage. And if they can have a great showing against UConn, just like they have in UNC game, and then they did against Clemson, where everybody can see how to play in this style, and it can be effective. If they can have an upset win, this will be huge for the program moving forward, because obviously you're playing for a national championship. But you're also playing to solidify this standing to be at the top of the SEC, I think, for a while, and it could be just the beginning.
Is there a score range that Alabama has to hit on Saturday? Is there like, okay, the game's got to be in the 80s or the 70s or the 90s? Is because UConn likes to get out in transition as well. But is there a score range that you say, okay, if Alabama hits this number, then they're in good shape?
Well, I do think if they can obviously get into the 80s, upper 80s and 90s, it's going to be to the benefit of Alabama, mainly because UConn is a good defensive team. If I'm not mistaken, one metric has them as the 4th best defensive team in the country. So if you can score that many points on them, you're going to give yourself a good chance to win the game. Now, this is a really good team that can play 2 different styles. UConn can pick up the pace, and they can also slow it down and smother you in a half-court game. So Alabama's going to have the tempo in their style, in their way, to be moving the ball up and down the court, hitting shots from the outside. So I definitely think that the scoring range has to be elevated for Alabama to have a chance to win this game. If it's a slow-down pace game, then that doesn't benefit what Alabama's trying to do. Now, the good thing about Alabama and the way that they have been playing is that they have been able to lull other teams into playing in the style that the Tide played. And if they can do that once again, and have UConn on the ropes going into the last 5 minutes of the game, then that's the position you want to be in that last media timeout, trying to figure out how you can hold on or take it in the end. as Alabama has shown in the last couple of games in the NCAA tournament.
No doubt about it. That's great stuff from Richard Hendricks. Richard, we really appreciate the time. And, man, we hope we're talking to you maybe Monday or next week, because that means Alabama's still playing. But we certainly are we're enjoying the ride. This has been great for the program, and you helped pave the way. But we appreciate it, man, and thank you for the thoughts and coming on with us this week.
Thank you so much. I hope I am back next Monday to talk about it. This will be outstanding. But thank you guys again.
All right, thanks, Richard. Richard Hendrick, wow. I mean, is there anybody? I mean, that was so good.
Yeah.
That was so good. Let's get a break in. More Talking Ball when we return. 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got 3 no-injury accidents that have been working this morning. Moore's Mill in 72, the 800 block of Old Big Cove with an overturned truck, and 565 in Research Park on the southbound side. All of those should be out of the way pretty quick. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
AL cert number 21014.
Are those high utility bills driving you crazy this time of year? If they are, Talent Heating and Air has the special for you.
That's right. We're going to run a $49 spring checkup on your system. We're going to come out, we're going to check those heat kits, make sure that everything was working through the winter right, and then we're going to also make sure your Freon's good, make sure that you're ready for the summertime.
How important is that to be done this time of year?
It's really the most important time of the year. We can avoid safety concerns caused by wintertime use, and then we can also make sure that you're ready for the summertime.
And to get ready for the summertime, you just got to call
256-503-4490.
Or you can find them online at
talenthvac.com.
That's Talent Heating and Air. One more time.
256-503-4490.
Talent Heating and Air. Let them save you money.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, and pick up the phone to call, you know, one you've seen on a billboard or on TV begging for your business, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center, not in some office 100 miles away. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to. We're the ones that you meet with.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case. You want to talk to me? You just call me.
And we'll take care of it. You worry about getting well. We'll take care of the rest.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Welcome back, Talking Ball 19. Welcome back, Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Doing a little research there during the break,
right.
And we've got a lot of schools that. So the question was, what schools have won a basketball and college football national championship. Not in the same year. Florida has done it in the same year.
Yeah, in 06.
But which ones have done it overall? And there's a bunch of schools that have accomplished the feat. Michigan has done it. Ohio State, Michigan State has done it because Michigan State won a football title in 1952, and they have won a national championship, obviously.
I call 79, 2000.
Yeah. Maryland has won it. Maryland football won a title in 1953 and then won the basketball crown in 2002. Yeah. Stanford, California, and UCLA have all accomplished the feat. UCLA won a football title in 54. They shared it with Ohio State. And then you have Arkansas, which, by the way, Arkansas did it in 64. The football team won a national title, and then we know they won the NCAA title in 94 in basketball. Yep. Then you have Florida has accomplished it. Syracuse has accomplished it as well. They won a football title in 59. They won a basketball title in 03. So several schools have accomplished the feat. Let's go to Brandon real fast. Good morning, Brandon.
Morning.
Hey, I don't plan to talk about wife beating this morning, but if y'all want to talk some Final Four prop bets, I pulled up 4 or 5 that I thought were really good.
So what are you betting on, man?
Okay, well, they've got Tristan Newton for 7+ assists at plus 135.
Okay.
And for 10+ assists, he's 7 plus 750.
Huh.
If I could hit 10+ assists for $100, I might be able to force more of my wife's vacation, so I may drop 100 on that one.
Well, I hope he doesn't get 10+ assists, because if he does, that means the ball's not sticking, and they're probably going to march on to the national championship game, honestly.
Yeah, I'm going to be in conflict with myself on what I'm betting on some of these. And then they've got Mark Sears.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think they have got him at 2.5 made threes. They've got him at minus 115.
Okay. I would take that bet. I think he'll make over 2+ threes. I think he'll still get loose against UConn, because he's been able to get shots against everybody with what Alabama runs.
Then they got Zach Edey, 13.5 rebounds, minus 105. That's
how many seconds in the lane do they have Zach Edey for? Because, I'm sure he'll build 4 houses this time.
They just do it by game or by half. So it's either by a half or by a game. He's either going to be in there 20 minutes or 40 minutes.
There's a few times I could count to 8 in Mississippi, and they these stupid officials wouldn't call it.
Is that backyard fun football 8 Mississippis, or is that a legitimate 8 Mississippi?
No, it'd be like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
You're not doing 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Get yourself a brain, aneurysm or something, whatever. Give yourself a lobotomy, you moron. It's 8 Mississippi, 9. Get him out! Good Lord, make the call. He's in the lane, friggin'. And if you call it, he's going to look incredulous at you, like, I was in the lane. Yeah, you were in the lane for like 8 seconds.
Well,
you cut the net down without even having to jump. For crying out loud.
All right, sorry, Brandon, we got to get a break in. Prop bets.
Yeah.
I would take the over on Zach Edey's rebounds, though. I don't think you're going to win a lot, but I would take the over on his rebounds. I would. All right, let's get that. Blake Lovell's going to join us. We'll talk some more college hoops when we return.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Unlike other credit cards that decline sports betting transactions or treat them as a cash advance, the G-Bank Visa Signature Card can load directly to your favorite sportsbook apps. G.bank/VSiN.
Women's Final Four this Friday. Iowa favored against Connecticut as the Hawkeyes chase their first ever championship. Star Caitlin Clark.
I think being so close last year, it gives you a little fire.
Iowa by 2.5. The over-under 162.5. Connecticut plus 110. In Friday's other women's Final Four matchup, undefeated South Carolina by 11.5 against NC State. The Wolfpack plus 400, over-under 139.5. Men's Final Four on Saturday. Defending champ Connecticut favored by 11.5 against Alabama. The Crimson Tide plus 500. NC State's an 8.5-point underdog against Purdue. The Wolfpack plus 325, over-under 145.5. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Welcome back, Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Yes, we've got the Final Four on the horizon, but did you see that Ernest T. Bass
is likely out the door?
A.K.A.
Matter
Eric
of fact, that's what I
Musselman.
spent most of the night watching, was just watching these Arkansas folks squirm because we may have seen the last of Ernest T. Bass.
As he could be packing his bags for Southern California.
It sounds like it.
USC. So there is a lot of college basketball news. I saw that, and I was like, oh, boy. Because remember, less than 24 hours ago, Hunter Yurachek came out and tried to, and rather awkwardly.
It looked stupid. I watched it. I was like, what in the hell is he saying?
Rather awkwardly tried to defend his – I don't even know if you could call it defending the coach or whatever.
Well, not really. He was basically just saying he's got a contract. We're not giving him an extension.
Yeah.
He's just basically calling his bluff.
I don't know
And
what
now
that
Bass
was.
is on a plane to Los Angeles.
Bass's ass is gone.
We're going to talk about that and more with our next guest.
Yes.
They'll probably be talking about that when they record later this morning for Southeastern14.com. And that is Southeastern Conference basketball analyst Blake Lovell. Good morning, Blake.
Hello, guys. Good to talk to you as always.
Absolutely. So what do we make of Ernest T., a.k.a. Eric Musselman? I think he's gone. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, as you guys know, this has not exactly been a top secret. I think everybody's known this for weeks now, that the more this dragged on, the more you just knew this was not going to be a situation where I think he's going to be back there. And so it's rather just seeing what school it was going to be, honestly. A lot of people thought it would be SMU, but
right,
it wasn't. And now I think for him, it's probably even better. So things kind of opened up probably better than he would have liked, I would think, just based on, taking the USC job probably versus the SMU job, because I think that's just a more attractive job probably for him, someone who's a West Coast guy. And, so I think this is going to be a done deal. And I can't imagine there's going to be anything that holds us back, because I think there's just been way too much stuff in that direction with him leaving Arkansas really for over a month now. But now that you kind of see the way things have unfolded, it seems like the perfect situation. So.
If you're Arkansas, then I know he's not out the door yet, but it looks like. And
I would think Yurachek's probably been planning things, though.
Yeah. What would you do if you're Arkansas? Where would you begin to look?
Well, I don't know if this would be the most popular choice for other people, but to me, I think there would be two clear candidates. One of them, everybody's talked about Chris Beard and get him away from Ole Miss, and he just had the extension and all of this, but as always, there's ways around that. And so that would certainly be the first choice. But if not, I've made my thoughts very clear on the fact that someone is going to hire Will Wade sooner rather than later. And At this point, if you're looking at the options that seem to be available and the ones that make the most sense long term, even if you have to deal with, a year of short term, whatever that came with the penalties or whatever that he got, it's going to happen. And I don't, if it's not Arkansas, it's going to be somebody else that they're probably competing against within the next year or so. And so I just think that's a route I would at least explore. Now, of course, there are things that Arkansas would have to look at and make sure that it is exactly what they're looking for. But at the same time, let's call it what it is. We can all play the games of, well, this guy is doing it the wrong way or this, whatever. I mean, that's been the thought. But, I mean, everybody wants to win. And you know what? If you just keep winning games, then it'll make the fan base happy. It'll make things work out the way they want it to. And look, I mean, it's a different era than it was 5 years ago. And so I think you look at it from that standpoint, and I would at least make that phone call, because I think there are plenty of other power conference schools out there that have either made that phone call already or certainly are already looking ahead thinking, hey, he may be our guy a year from now. And so I would say he should be one of the top several choices.
Of course, if you follow coaching searches or insiders and stuff, and I follow several of them, as do you, Blake, and Trilly Donovan, posted several days ago about when it came out that Andy Enfield was going to SMU. He said, I can't wait for this to be official because of the dominoes that it's going to set off. And so that could mean, of course, Musselman to USC and then open up Arkansas. But even then, say that Chris Beard goes from Ole Miss to Arkansas, Will Wade could end up in Oxford, Mississippi.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you go with the first scenario, what's interesting is that you could actually have the same thing sort of play out to where Beard goes to Fayetteville, and then all of a sudden Wade becomes maybe the most, attractive option for an Ole Miss. And so
because Ole Miss took Chris Beard and he had baggage, so that you would think they would consider Will Wade.
That's the thing is I think when you really look at it, and like I said, sure, we all saw the documentary or whatever. We've all seen the stuff that played out 5 years ago now, I guess it's been. But, like I said, it is a different landscape now. And these are things that are just being done without any hesitation at this point. And so, I don't know. I mean, again, I know there's some kind of restrictions maybe for still another year. I don't remember exactly what the process is there. But, I feel like if you're looking for someone, and sure, I mean, let's call it what it is too. There are other coaches out there. I'm not just saying he's the only guy, but I know Jerome Tang's name's been mentioned.
I've heard
he's
that.
One that seems to want out of Kansas State. And so that's someone else who you could probably do a pretty good job with, because I think he was there at Baylor for a while, and recruiting wise, he does a really good job. And so he's someone else that I think would be interesting. But really, it seems like there are a lot of coaches that are sort of set in their spots right now, because as you always say, it's Final Four week, but at the same time, there's been a lot of movement on the coaching carousel. And so, it's going to be interesting, but I think there's plenty of things that can happen now, and it's probably going to center around those three names, really, when you just look at how this could play out with Arkansas, Beard, Wade, and Tang. So,
well, one of the best places to find a coach usually is at the Final Four, because a lot of coaches culminate there, and you can do a lot of interviews at the Final Four. We are quickly approaching this year's Final Four, and the SEC represented by everybody's choice, Alabama.
Yeah. Blake did take Alabama over Clemson, by the way.
He did.
I just think this is one of these things where, I'm sure we talked months ago, and, I keep going back to the thing I said. Alabama was 6-5. They lost the 3 straight games to Purdue, Creighton, and Arizona, but as I was watching them back then, I'm just like, here's what's going to happen. So they're just going to go outscore some teams in SEC play, because they're SEC teams who are padding their stats offensively against a schedule that doesn't look like what Alabama has played. And their offense is going to start to go backwards a little bit. And Alabama's just going to be able to go out and outscore them. They may still give up some points, but they're going to score a lot of points too. And I think as we started to see things play out, that became a common theme, is that really it is all about just, can you just score one more point than the other team? But I think the difference in this NCAA tournament has been their defense has gotten better. And I know people still just want to look at the overall stats and say, well, they're sub 100 and this or that, and that's fine. But I think what you have to remember, and this is why I'm curious to see how Alabama approaches this game against UConn, is that it's the way they play. They're going to give up points naturally just because of how fast they play. They're always going to give up a couple easy baskets here or there. Certainly they're giving up a lot more than that, during that final stretch of the regular season. But now when you look at the way they're playing, I think you're seeing a team that feels pretty confident in what it's doing offensively, which is no surprise. But they're making a lot more plays on the defensive end, and I think that is what's gotten them here. Sure, it's scoring a lot of points help, but they're making a lot of sort of signature plays defensively that maybe we didn't see them make very often in the regular season. And so I think it sets up for a very interesting matchup here. And I know that this is a double-digit spread and all this other stuff, but as we did our preview yesterday, and it'll go up today on our channel, there are a lot of things actually you can point out and say, this is probably not the kind of team UConn would love to face just because of the three-point attempts and those kind of things. So I think this matchup may be a little bit more interesting than people think.
And then with Purdue and NC State, what Kevin Keatts has done is astonishing because he was on the hottest of the hot seats, and now he has a contract extension. Painter had a lot of and those kids had a lot of pressure on them because of a year ago, and that's an 8.5-point spread. How do you look? What do you look at for NC State and Purdue? I know it's not SEC based, but how do you kind of see that matchup?
Yeah, I think it's if you're NC State, just hope for the best when it comes to Zach Edey, because I don't know what else to tell me. I know they have DJ Burns, but it's just as we all did, we watched that Purdue-Tennessee game, and, obviously I didn't get a chance to watch every Purdue game this season, but watched a lot of them, and it's the same thing. I mean, it's the same theme every single game. And I think you look at it, and it's just, how do you stop Zach Edey from shooting 20-plus shots around the rim and shooting 20-plus free throws? Because that is just the common thing. And if you can't do that, then what else do you do? Now, of course, the guards have got to make plays for Purdue, but I think that's where, having a Smith, having a Lawyer, those guys are good enough to step up and make plays. And so that's what's interesting is, like, this is a Purdue team that really only needs three guys to really contribute offensively, because they're good enough to all kind of put the numbers up but still give them a chance to win, because they're going to defend and they're going to make it hard on teams shooting the ball. And so I think with NC State, it is just kind of one of these things where I saw someone put out the probability less than 1% that they could have won these 9 games in a row to get to this point. And so now you go into this matchup and you're looking at it and saying, wow, what do we do well to get here? It's a team that does a pretty good job, I think, of obviously taking care of the ball. They're very experienced. But what worries me a little bit for them in this game is they are a team that really wants to try to get to the basket and shoot shots within the three-point line. And it's like, with Zach Edey in there, good luck, because you're either talking about, potential block shots, rebounds, limiting your offensive rebounding attempts and all that. So I think this is just a tough matchup for Purdue, but I've said the same thing. I'm like, I could have said that for NC State for the past however many games now, and they've still found a way to win. So.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. If I were them, I would almost let Edey get his and then stick to everybody else. But Tennessee, I thought, did an underrated job of that. The Tennessee's problem was more on the offensive end, Blake, is Connect had a great game, but they didn't get a couple other guys to come along.
Yeah, that was the issue. Is it just looked to me like Connect just ran out of gas at the end, because, he missed some shots that normally he's making probably 10 minutes beforehand. And I think it's just when you have all that pressure on you to do everything like he had to do in this game, it made it tough. And I think it was one of those where you just had guys who did not play, their best games. And, Adu probably had his worst game of the season. You certainly could not have, expected that or wanted that. In this scenario, you needed more than what you got there. Vescovy obviously had the flu the day before, and he tried to play, but, just couldn't contribute anything offensively either, didn't play that much. And so, that's been the issue for Tennessee all year long, is we're just like, they are 1-2 bad games away from everyone not named Dalton Connect from losing to a lot of different teams. And I think this was the one where they still only managed to lose by 6. And it felt like they started to have some momentum there, obviously towards the end of the first half, but they just could not find a way to hit enough shots. And that's kind of been the theme for Tennessee over the years, we know, but at least they got a little bit further this year. And this one was sting a little bit. I know Tennessee fans, that's the thing, is like, you lose this game to Purdue knowing that you probably could not have asked for a better Final Four matchup against NC State had that have been the matchup, without, demeaning anything NC State's done. But Tennessee's already beat that team this season. And, they would have felt really confident, I think, going into that game and perhaps having a chance to play for the national championship. So,
what does Tennessee then do going forward? I mean, what does the future look like for Rick Barnes?
I still think it looks pretty bright.
I mean, for him personally, but I mean, the team-wise too. I mean, what's it going to look like then? I mean, this year it just seemed like everything lined up for them talent-wise.
Yeah, and that's, I think, what we had talked about was like the fact that all these guys came back this year, whether it was James, it was Vescovy, Ziegler, like everybody. We didn't know because, I think the thought was last year, like, we're like, man, there's no way James is coming back. And then he does come back, right? And Vescovy comes back. And you're thinking, wow. And, of course, that's what we were laughing the other day. We're like, if you go back and watch our Tennessee preview last June, I don't know how many things we actually said about Dalton Knecht. We probably didn't even mention him a lot. I mean, we said a little bit about him, but we're like, he's a guy that's transferring up. We'll see what happens. Barnes has said good things, but, got to see it. And so now I think you look at it, all those guys are gone except for Ziegler. He can come back. And so I think that's what's going to be interesting is just to see how they can, Adu can come back too, how they continue to kind of rebuild around bringing in a transfer guy like that. Now, of course, you're not going to go out and find many people like Dalton Knecht, but I think Rick Barnes understands, though, hey, if they can go out and identify someone who can just come in and be not necessarily carrying the load like that, because I do think they're going to try to aim for a little bit more balance moving forward. But their defense is always going to be there. Rick Barnes can always recruit the way he does defensively and bring guys in that he knows that can fit well in their system, because that's got them a long way. Whether they've been disappointing or whatever in the tournament at times, their defense is still what has carried them for years and years and years. So I don't think that's going to change, but I do think it's going to be interesting to see how they continue to kind of evolve offensively, because you don't get a Dalton Knecht every single year, and you don't want to go into next year where you're like, uh-oh, we're back to the same story again, where it's like we're going to go 8 minutes without scoring, and we're going to have to win games 60-58 versus 85-83. And so I'm curious to see how that unfolds. But what it does do, guys, this sort of gets the monkey off of Rick Barnes' back, at least for a little while, because, I said, I don't know if there's anybody, I'm sure on Twitter, because there's always trolls on Twitter, but I don't know if anybody out there is blaming Rick Barnes, but I thought he coached probably one of his best tournaments I've ever seen him coach in terms of putting his guys in a position to succeed. And so, the whole March Rick or whatever they call it, like that doesn't stand after this tournament for now. So
I would agree. I think Tennessee's still in strong position, and the success of Knecht is probably going to draw other guys from the portal potentially to Tennessee. Well, great stuff, Blake. I know you got some stuff to record for Southeastern 14 later today, but let everybody know how to follow you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Like you said, Southeastern 14, find us on YouTube, any podcast app you use. Yeah, we'll have a lot of interesting stuff. We did a full kind of 30-minute preview on Alabama and UConn. It'll go up today. We'll have some other stuff coming up on the game tomorrow. So, yeah, you can check that out there, and everything else, I'm on Twitter at @BlakeLuffle.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, Blake. All right, 8:16, let's get a break in. When we come back, we got to check in with Kalen DeBoer and Hugh Freeze. A little spring football chatter.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got 3 no-injury accidents that have been working this morning. Moore's Mill in 72, the 800 block of Old Big Cove with an overturned truck, and 565 in Research Park on the southbound side. All of those should be out of the way pretty quick. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
For the first time ever, Roll Tide! The Tide are rolling to the Final Four. Oh, yeah! It's the Crimson Tide and the Yukon Huskies, live from State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona.
And let's get out of here and go to the Final Four!
Tune in this Saturday for this historic game. Our coverage begins at 6:30 on your home for Alabama basketball. The Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRIEND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
What's happening? What's happening?
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Welcome back into the show. 256-576-4977. Yes, Final Four conversation has been plentiful today because we are zeroing in on this year's Final Four in Arizona. But spring football is ongoing, and we want to make sure we keep everyone up to date at what's going on. Our good friend Josh Pate traveled and took the road show to Alabama yesterday and was there in Tuscaloosa, sat down with everybody, but he also sat down with head coach Kalen DeBoer.
You did.
And had a great conversation with him. Josh asked him about the transfer portal and getting in there and getting guys to stay, but then asked him the biggest need for this Alabama football team right now as far as roster spots go. Now, Kalen DeBoer said that, yes, they have some scholarships available. There are some available. And Josh asked him the roster needs for right now.
We had a pretty good idea even going into spring just because of sheer numbers. And it's pretty easy. I mean, anyone can look at our roster or see who entered the portal and see that there was a couple position groups that we're just short at, a defensive backfield, offensive line, just those numbers that you normally have, they aren't where they would normally be and where we'd like them to be. So, we gotta be ready there. And so it has nothing to do with even the level of talent that's on the football field for us or us being nervous in that way. It's all about just making sure you got enough guys to get through the season. DBs, and they're involved with special teams as well. In a lot of those reps. So we gotta make sure that we have the right numbers for the most part. You never hit exactly on the marks that you have set, but we need to be a little closer than where we are right now.
That's the two areas I was almost assured he was going to say, and that's what I've been talking about: offensive line, especially offensive tackle. And you could use another experienced guy, and that's even counting Caden Proctor doing the 180.
Right.
But offensive tackle and of course DB, and who knows, Parker Brailsford, the center transfer from Washington, he may go back in the portal because right now James Brockermeyer, the redshirt junior from Texas, Blake Brockermeyer's son, has had a really good spring, added weight, and is supposedly running first team right now. So that's what you're hearing from the buzz anyway from spring practice. So he could move on. So, and they have Joseph Ionata, who's a true freshman. They've got Casey Poe. They've got who's another true freshman. They've got Rock Montgomery, who's from Anderson, who's a redshirt guy. They can all develop at center. But like I said, but offensive tackle especially, they're so young. I mean, Bertrand is a guy that basically redshirted. Naquil Bertrand at Texas A&M. He's a redshirt freshman. He didn't play. Wilkin Formby redshirted. Miles McVay redshirted. They've got Elijah Pritchett, who's a redshirt sophomore who has very little experience. Proctor will be coming back, and he's a guy that played as a freshman, but even he is still young in his career. So they probably need a veteran to come in there, especially – I don't know – I haven't heard a lot about how Pritchett's performed. It wouldn't surprise me if he's not leading at right tackle if he doesn't exit stage left. So it's not just adding guys for depth. You may lose some guys, too.
That's the biggest thing right now is that portal is getting ready to open.
It swings both ways.
Yes, that portal is getting ready to open back up. And Alabama's not going to be the only school that's going to hold their breath because there's a lot of other programs that are going through new head coaches. And the trend now is, even if you don't have a new coach, the trend now is if you don't feel like you're going to be in one of the 11 starting spots, you're leaving. And whether or not you are a starter, these kids are leaving at a growing rate. And that's going to happen in the next, I don't know exactly when the portal opens. Another 3 weeks.
It's around April 15th. It's right after the spring. It's mid-April, and speaking of the circle jerks, it's not just happening in football with Caden Proctor leaving Alabama and then come back a few months later. Michie Johnson, he left Ohio State, went to South Carolina, led him in scoring at 40 points a game. Now they've changed coaches. He's going back to Ohio State.
Going back to Ohio State after just 1 year in South Carolina.
So he's going back there. So, I mean, it's just a circus. I mean, it's just one of those things.
That there is.
It's like a goat rope, man, what they call it.
Not heard that one.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, that's popping in my head. That's something Les Studeman might say.
By the way, Memories is a song from Cats.
Is it?
Barbara Streisand sang it.
Okay.
There's no way I'm even going to try.
And I believe Coach Studeman just recently had a birthday, too, so happy birthday.
She did on Sunday.
There you go.
She did. She celebrated Easter and everything on Sunday. So, yes. And she's in the middle of a 8-9 game win streak right now. So
she should be in a good place.
She should be in a good place.
Yeah.
She should be. I hope she is.
Right.
I haven't looked at – they have a tough schedule, though. They have a tough – we should actually talk to her at some point just because –
I know. We
haven't
via
talked.
Sports Med,
we're
going to start talking weekly softball and baseball for UAH, everybody. It's coming.
We just haven't talked to them a lot.
We're putting basketball in the rearview mirror completely after this week and then going into Monday. And then we are going to focus on baseball and softball, and they will be joining us. I'll just announce it on the show. We'll be joining with Hunter and Hunter Royer and Les Studeman on a weekly
I feel bad
basis.
for Hunter right now. They're having a tough go.
Yeah. But it's all about figuring it out, though. See, baseball is the ultimate marathon, not a sprint, especially when you're in a situation where you got to win your conference tournament pretty much to get into the postseason.
Yeah.
You got to figure stuff out, man. So you can't get too discouraged.
Let's see here. I was checking. I just wanted to check the schedule. I know baseball and softball for UAH. They are at West Georgia this weekend.
They're on the road. Yeah,
they're on the road at West Georgia. Now, baseball was supposed to play yesterday because weather decided to not have that happen. Softball is actually playing today. They've got a doubleheader with Auburn Montgomery in Trussville today. So she is actually getting ready to hit the road and go take on Auburn Montgomery today and then turn around and go play West Georgia on Friday and Saturday. So she's got a busy schedule. Then the defending national champions net Georgia next Wednesday. So they've got a meat grinder right now in the next week and a half. Let's get a break in. When we come back, we'll check in with Hugh Freeze. The Auburn Tigers have A-Day on Saturday. We'll hear from the Auburn head coach coming up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 50s. It is going to be on the windier end of the spectrum. Sustained winds 20 to 30 miles per hour. An isolated shower also can't be ruled out this afternoon, but it looks like many of us are going to end up staying dry. We drop into the low and mid 40s as we head into the overnight. Early Thursday morning, a partly sunny sky Thursday afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the low and mid 50s, dropping into the mid 30s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got 3 no-injury accidents that have been working this morning. Moore's Mill in 72, the 800 block of Old Big Cove with an overturned truck, and 565 in Research Park on the southbound side. All of those should be out of the way pretty quick. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
I'm here today with Dr. Tracy Lowry of Veracity Vein Center. Now, how does someone suspect they have vein issues?
The most common symptoms associated with vein issues include leg heaviness, aching, and swelling, with some patients having visible veins as well. Vein issues can be easily diagnosed using ultrasound, with treatments performed as an outpatient using the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Both men and women have vein issues, though men may be more likely to ignore their symptoms when they're playing golf or walking the stadium steps. They too will benefit from correction of their vein problem. Patients can contact our clinics in Huntsville and new clinics in Madison and Coleman at 256-715-7151 or visit us at veracityweincenter.com.
Veracity Vein Center, Alabama's premier vein center.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on at advancedlifeclinic.com.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Corralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day, Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at $5. Corralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials. SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. 256-4977. Almost forgot the phone number like we've changed it again.
We did change it about 3 times in a month, though.
I'd give anybody, I don't know if we have any prizes, I'd give anybody something if they could remember all of our phone numbers that we've had in the last 3 years.
Lord, I can't remember.
256-382-0724 is one. And then we have 256-576-4976 is the number we have now.
We had a 1-800 number.
Then we had the 1-800 number that was short-lived.
Yeah, hell, I can't remember that one. I could probably find it in my phone somewhere, but I can't remember it.
That's when the czar thought he had a great idea.
Yeah.
That didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Whoever our provider was at that time, from the standpoint we couldn't get the phone to ring.
Well, that's probably because we didn't pay the bill.
I don't know. That wasn't that one, but the hell far.
Nothing like walking in to do a show and realizing that we hadn't paid the internet. Sorry, folks. The park is closed. Coming up on Saturday, Auburn has their A-Day game. Hugh Freeze.
And hope they'll have better weather than they did last year. It was a disaster.
Oh, gosh.
Remember that?
Yeah,
I mean, they had all kind of plans, and we had just some severe weather that blew through during the weekend, and golly, they just had to completely change everything. It was just rainy. Hopefully it's going to be much better weather this weekend to get a big crowd on the plains.
Hugh Freeze gives us an update so far.
Well, it's another beautiful day on the plains. We've had some outstanding weather, and Saturday's practice was I've been really pleased with the energy and passion that starting with our staff and with the players. I think they're batting about 100 on that with the in this new Tuesday, Saturday, let's get after it, and Thursday teach format that we've kind of gone through this spring, and so we're left with 2 more opportunities to do that, and excited to see what we do today in our competition periods, and then teach a lot Thursday, and then Saturday obviously go into the stadium in Jordan-Hare, and not sure exactly how to judge that. I know both sides will kind of be particular about what they're doing, and you hope to stay healthy and safe, and you're excited about our recruits that will be here and all of our fans that may come, but it's typically a day you try to get out of healthy and don't show too much on either side, but and play a lot of these young kids. So hopefully we can get through this week healthy. We've been beat up considerably at the receiver position. That's caused us a little slowdown in some of the things we're trying to do, but other than that, we're pretty healthy. So been pleased with the energy and passion, and love the things I see from our staff and a lot of our players. I think the leadership of the team has been good in holding us accountable to the standards that we set back in January, and I think that's been probably what I'm most pleased with the progress with. And
Hugh Freeze, Auburn head coach, giving us a quick update there. Tigers getting ready for A-Day. 1 o'clock kickoff down on the plains on Saturday for the A-Day game. And Hugh Freeze, you 5 years ago, you go back and pretty much everybody, ESPN-wise, would throw pretty much any school they could, and the SEC network for that much, spring games on TV. Everybody wanted to see a spring game. Now, I believe there's only one spring game. I think Alabama's spring game is the one shown live. Everything else is on a delay basis or, whatever. Have spring games kind of lost their appeal as far as television goes?
Well, I mean, a little bit, I think. And, again, you can never take too much out of a spring game. Hugh Freeze just kind of detailed that when you're not trying to show too much offensively and defensively, and just take a look at some young guys, because that the TV cameras are there for spring games. And with the transfer portal, who's coming and who's going. So, and especially coming. Like, your team could look a lot different in the fall. So you're just basically trying to get some of the, big pieces to the puzzle decided. And then you're just trying to kind of, with what Kalen DeBoer said to Josh Pate, figure out numbers-wise where you are as a team and where the pieces may need to be added. So to me, spring practice is still very important for development,
right?
But it's even more important with the transfer portal opening at the end of spring practice at knowing who is likely not coming back and where do you need to be ready to, what positions to address. So I still think, that's what spring practice has basically become. I mean, it's more of a, state of the union. Like, where is my football team? Do I need starters at certain positions? Is it just depth that I need? If you have some new coaches, Hugh Freeze just referenced being much more comfortable with the staff. How are they, connecting with the players? So, again, and then, of course, recruiting, because you're going to have a lot of recruits on campus, and then there's a lot of kids taking visits, official visits in June and making decisions even though they don't mean a damn thing because you don't sign until December. And no, they shouldn't be signing in June. I'll say it 1,000 times. I don't blame all these Alabama high school coaches for that either, because we ain't having opt-outs, because that's exactly what will start happening. Kids are going to sign, and then they're going to opt out and be like, I'm good, dog.
But you know what, though? If there's ever smoke or if there's ever momentum for something stupid like that, usually it comes to fruition.
Well, hopefully they'll use their brain in this case as far as the NCAA. And, to me, again, I just think if you're going to do it, why don't you just mimic what they do in the spring sports?
Right.
When you sign in November and April, then you know what I'm saying. But and April after your senior year, that's what I mean. Like it's already decided for those that maybe are overlooked, and then after spring games when you need players, it's all in football. Like, hey, so and so's still out there. We need to add some pieces. To me, except make it December and April.
Right.
But don't do it during the summer before their senior year, you morons, because half of them will opt out.
Well, think about the guys that in Florida, Colorado, states that allow high school players to take advantage of their name, image, and likeness.
I already think that's stupid. You shouldn't go all the way down to high school.
If you have that signing period,
you can't even you can barely drive a car. Why they shouldn't be able to make money like that? They can't decide what they want to do.
Think about that though. You have a kid that could opt out. You could have a kid that could opt out because they've signed on a national letter of intent to already go to X university. They get name, image, and likeness. They don't play it down their senior year, and they're getting name, image, and likeness.
I think when they start regulating this NIL, they need to do it like alcohol. You can't do anything till you damn 21. You know what I'm saying? You need to, and then when you're 21 years old, then you can start cashing in, or until you enroll in college, name, image, and likeness. How
about until you enroll in college and complete a semester and at least have passing grades?
Yeah, or just maybe spend a semester on a college campus and start establishing yourself as an athlete. That's better. 18 years old, establish yourself as an athlete, then you can start making money. Now, some of these kids are smart, though, because you got to pay taxes. So I saw Mark Sears did a TurboTax commercial. Good job.
No, that's fine. We've been fine with that.
I think your girl Caitlin Clark's with TurboTax. So,
she's got everything.
Well, I know that.
She's got everything.
She sure whooped LSU's ass.
And you know what? It's so funny because exactly what you said yesterday.
Right.
The LSU players are getting so much backlash for their post-game press conference.
It wasn't well done. They just didn't handle it right.
Because people are
What?
Oh, I'm just seeing.
There we go. You're seeing the Junction restaurant again. I didn't know what you were doing.
Look at that. Steaks, pork chops. Oh.
Good Lord.
God, am I hungry. Anyway, the LSU players are
Squirrel! No. That's what happens with Scott with food.
It's a squirrel moment.
Yeah.
We have a lot of squirrel moments on the show.
Mildred's. On the Biden channel.
Or the stupid TV.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know why we put it there. We have a choice to turn it, and we don't. We leave it there.
Yeah.
I don't know why. We
Well,
could put
I
it
don't
on
know.
anything, but yet we put it on the.
Isn't that the Roku TV? I can't keep up.
No, that's the one that's got the rabbit ears.
Oh, okay.
That's
why.
We don't really have a lot of choices.
Right.
We could either go to the dumb or dumber.
Well,
so we don't have a lot of choices.
No.
Anyway, I tell you what. Let's just get a break in. 8:43. We'll get a break in. Your tomorrow's headlines. We'll wrap up this extravaganza next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
They've got confirmed entrapment in that accident on Wall Triana near Carmine Circle. Overturned vehicle in that one. Got 6th and 14th in Decatur trying to get it clear. It was a no injury from the sound of things. Southbound on the Parkway at Winchester reported with injury and entrapment. They canceled Hemsey and rescue on that one. And we got Butch Cash just off Carringer Road in the county. That one's reported as an injury time. Expert heart care backed by advanced technology. If you need cardiac care, you need the heart doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. And, hey, guess what?
What?
It's 49 degrees here right
Still?
now. Yeah, 49 degrees. At least that's what it's telling me.
Right.
That's good news.
Uh-huh.
The Atlanta Braves and the Chicago White
How
Sox
much snow have we got?
are going to wrap up their series today. 1:10 first pitch. The 1:10.
Now we're talking Braves, Jeff.
Yeah, now we're talking Braves, you dumbass. I mean, come on. You know what he's going to do? Is that dumbass is going to call back tomorrow and say, look, I got a rise out of you guys, and that's why I won the day because I got a rise out of you.
Here we go.
That's what he's going to say. But at 1 o'clock today, it's 38 degrees and a 45% chance of snow
I heard they could
for
get
the
as much as
Braves
5
and White
inches.
Sox.
I don't know, man, because I wasn't sure they get to play yesterday, but they did, so you never know.
In front of nobody.
Yeah. Well, the White Sox stink. I mean, they're just in a perpetual.
Well, look, this
rebuild.
is at my parents' house right now.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
See, so they've got a couple inches on the ground already in April.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the Braves get a win yesterday over the White Sox. Spencer Strider expected to start today for the Braves.
Ugh. Be his second start of the year.
No decision in his first start.
Hope he gets a chance to pitch. Hope they get a chance to play, and if so, they have a chance to win the series. But certainly, been a circuitous schedule so far for the Braves, starting out on the East Coast and in Philly and in Chicago, and as Steve Moulton was joking earlier this week, maybe next they're headed to Colorado. Who knows? Because it seems like they're following the bad weather.
Toronto.
Toronto's inside. You ain't got to worry about that.
Yeah, Colorado.
Oh, here we go, Scott. Here we go.
Where
we talked
are we
about
going?
this before as the show started. Now, when it's the way they phrase all this stuff. The primary candidate of interest for USC is now Ernest T. Bass. So he's about to sign that contract and be gone.
He gone.
John Rothstein, all these insiders. He is now emerged as the primary person of interest. You know how they have to phrase it.
Good news for Tony Pujols and UNA.
Yeah.
I did not realize Jakari Lane is coming back.
Yeah, he's going to be a junior.
Yeah.
First team all conference.
Let's go to Shane from Decatur real fast. Good morning, Shane.
Good morning, guys. Here's Shane from Decatur. Are you talking about the Braves now? Sorry, I just had to. I had to.
We didn't understand it. And if you're going to talk about it, why are you criticizing? The guy hit 2 home runs. What has he done in the last year and a half? We know the issues he's had, but why are you talking about that now when he hit 2 bombs?
Yeah, come on. I don't really – everything that comes out of Jeff's mouth, I hear it and I let it go because you know what? 9 times out of 10, he's just, like you said, trying to get a rise out of you guys or just talking crap.
Yeah.
But, did it actually snow last night there? I know it was getting cold and started to rain, but I was watching the game and it ended and they were talking about snow. Did it actually snow in Chicago?
Well, I don't know if it snowed yet.
don't
Scott
know.
was saying 45% chance today, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It's got at 9 a.m. this morning, they're expecting 60% chance of snow.
Gee.
So
I don't know if you guys watched the game last night, but those guys seemed like they were so cold, like they couldn't move to hit. Like they were twitchy,
Right.
Well, the temperature at first pitch is expected to be 38 degrees.
Lord.
Oh, jeez. Man, come on. It's April already. But, hey,
But, I'll say this, though. This is 38 degrees in April. This is not normal. This is not something that they experience a lot of. 45, maybe 50 degrees, and especially in Chicago, you're getting that lakefront wind from Lake Michigan, and so sometimes it can be a little cool, but not like this.
Yeah, would be used to it if they hadn't been down in Florida for spring training,
Right.
beforehand. But yeah, so and another thing I didn't realize is I had forgotten or I didn't know it, but what's his name got traded to the White Sox? Playing right field. Goodness gracious, we had him last year. I can't think of his name. Gives up the body all the time, runs into the wall. What was his name?
Traded to the White Sox?
Yes, he's playing right field, and I had no idea.
Oh, are you talking about Everyday Eddie?
No, not Eddie. Where did Rosario go, by the way?
I to be honest with you, I know that he just wasn't re-signed. I'm not sure who he signed with. They let him go as a free agent. He played left field, but as you know, Acuna is the guy that's always, when he's healthy anyway, and which is most of the time, he's your stalwart and right. but I'm not really sure who you're referring to.
Andrew Benettini. The outfielders is Andrew Benettini, Oscar Colas, Zach DeLoach, Dominic Fletcher, Eloy Jimenez, Kevin Pillar.
Yeah.
Kevin Pillar.
He's
Kevin
talking about Pillar,
Pillar,
who did play
yeah.
some. Didn't play a lot. But, yeah, Pillar did get some playing time in right and left.
Yeah, but the thing I wanted to talk about was, what's his name, Nicky Lopez. That kid, man.
Yeah,
I'm glad
the one they traded for Kansas City, yeah. They didn't
Yeah,
decide not to
but-
bring back.
I love that kid. He is a fantastic infielder, man, and he's getting a chance to play full time with the White Sox. And with Pillar, man, at least they went together. But yeah, I didn't
Everyday
know
Eddie's
Pillar-
with the Nationals, by the way. Just got a listener to let us know Everyday Eddie got signed by Washington.
I just threw up in my mouth.
There you
Okay, well, well, let's see if they get the Eddie chant going in D.C. But yeah, guys, I just want to call and say hello, make a little fun of Jeff, and you guys have a good day.
All right, thanks. That seems like that's easy to do. Call in and make fun of Jeff. 256-576-4977. So there you go. There's your Braves. Your lovely and favorite team, the LA Dodgers, are off to a 6-2 start. I mean, it's
Right.
way early, way early right now in baseball. But just in case you really care, the Yankees are 5-1. Your Tigers are 4-0. Your Angels are 3-2, along with the Rangers.
Mike Trout's off to a good start.
Braves are 3-2. The Pittsburgh Pirates, Brewers still undefeated on the year. Dodgers and Diamondbacks. Dodgers are 6-2. Diamondbacks are 4-2.
I know you told us he was going to Nashville, which is our good friend Joe Honk, who's here in the studio with us. But Brewer Hickling going to be there in Nashville, and he looks spiffy in those Brewers uniforms.
Doesn't he look good?
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of that, since we're on baseball.
Justin Foscue.
Yes.
Been a friend of the show, been on this show, one of the greatest players to ever come through Grissom High School. Went from Grissom to Mississippi State, was a first-round pick of the Texas Rangers, and now at 25 years old, will be going up, got called up to the Rangers. They're the defending world champions, and he's someone that can play second, short, third. B. Rich, who's a great listener of ours, watched him play a lot as well, just like I did. Justin Foscue's a stud, and congratulations to him for making the trek to the big leagues now. And yet another young man from our community, Justin Foscue, shortstop at Grissom High School, but now a stud, and he's a major leaguer with the Texas Rangers. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, you think about the last 3 or 4 years. Brewer had, 3-4 games in the majors. We have Graham Ashcraft, pitching in Cincinnati.
That's correct.
Justin Foscue will make his debut.
And I'm just saying, Dylan Ray, when we talked to Jared Smith, he's going to be up there very soon, too, with the Diamondbacks.
So, I mean, this is crazy.
And then I saw the other day, it looks like Caden Rose getting healthy. I think he's in Greenville, South Carolina, getting ready to start the trek up with the Red Sox.
All right, it's going to do it for our 2 hours. We told you it'd be fun. We just didn't know how much fun we were going to have. We'll see you tomorrow.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn